Haney Biz presents Entrepreneurs Unlimited. Here's your host, Mark Haney.
Welcome back, and we are here with the founder and CEO of Perfection Promo, aka Mr. Swag. How you doing? We're here with Harry Ein. How you doing this morning, Harry?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I
You
appreciate
bet, you bet. Thanks for coming in. Now, tell us a little bit about your business.
So we do logoed merchandise for different corporations as well as professional sports teams and different high schools, etc. So anything from the bobbleheads to the T-shirts, the pens, the cell phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers, you name it. Anything with a logo on it, we're producing a lot of that stuff.
Okay, what do you like most about your job? What do you like most about this business?
I love the creativity. It's every day that you wake up, you never know what the project is or who's going to be calling. If they're going to need 20,000 shirts done in 3 days, or if you're going to need to do a customized bobblehead or a pennant, anything. It's always an exciting project, whether it's a tech company or a sports team. There's lots of really cool, unique products that you're doing.
And where does this creativity come from? Is that you?
It depends on the client. Some of them, they're giving you some direction and you're trying to source and you're trying to come up with something that's unique. Sometimes a client's it's a blank plate and they're saying, hey, we have $5 to spend on 5,000 pieces for this event. Come up with something creative that shows off our brand and that's unique and has a high perceived value for the customer.
Now, Harry, you're a very likable guy, and we were talking at the beginning of the show about charisma. And how important is charisma to building Perfection Promo?
I think it's been crucial. I mean, there's 20,000 sales reps of promotional products in our country. So to me, it's how you relate with the customers, what you're dealing with them, if it's the service, if it's how you're going to show and make their job better, if it's by giving them that service and coming through, if it's how you're dealing with them on, price and hitting their budgets and making them look good for their boss. It's really important how you're relating with each person and trying to have common ground as well, especially when you're trying to deal with them at first. You're trying to have the same kind of interest and have something that's common between you and your customer.
Okay, trying to connect with your client?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really
now, I know you connected with me when you first came in because you brought me a gift, which I thought was really cool. It's a Reggie Theus bobblehead doll. And this is for Sacramento Kings, right? Was this like a throwback gift?
Yeah, I think it was last Friday they had one of the throwback nights, and it had to do with his first basket. And this was one of our favorite bobbleheads I've done in my whole career. I loved how the shoes came out and some of the details with the Converse, the old school uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Bobbleheads are tough. It's very important that you're dealing with, a great factory and great sculptor to try to get the resemblance. You don't want to be that guy who's turning out a bobblehead where it looks nothing like the player, and that's kind of embarrassing. To us, it's really important on the bobbleheads to make sure to have the top-notch quality out there.
Now, how important is it to come up with originality?
I mean, originality in our industry, it's key. If someone is asking for new ideas and I'm showing them calendars or pens or some nonsense that's been around for 20 or 30 years, I mean, most of the time on the customers I deal with on the larger companies, they're just going to ignore you. So to me, it's kind of creating something that's unique. Like recently, we just started working with a factory that does the custom Chuck Taylor shoes, but with full color printing, so you can do your whole design on those shoes. So to me, I'm always trying to find the new products, the new processes that are going to be unique for the companies that we're dealing with.
I was at a business dinner the other night, a couple months ago actually, and we hatched an idea. So I don't really want this to get out, but it's, we were talking about bobbleheads and, that they're so fun to have on the back window and stuff. And Marcus and I were there. We're kind of laughing, joking around. And the idea came up about bobble junk. Bobble junk, where you, not the bobblehead,
yep.
kind of another area of, that might bobble when you do it. And then, so we looked at bobble junk. .com, the domain name, and it was available.
Uh-huh.
And, we're thinking, I don't know if there's anything to that, but if there was, is that something that you guys would be open to potentially
we'll always
partnering
be
on?
to help you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bobble junk. Okay.
Bobble junk, I mean, there's been some funky bobbleheads, and I've seen some interesting things happen on that stuff. So, it could always work.
Okay, we'll have to talk about that. So what's the funniest product or gimmick you've ever provided?
Funniest product? Gosh, that's a tough question. I mean, some of the stuff that we do in regards to, some of the T-shirt slogans. I mean, I had something recently where hey,
this is a PG rated show. By
Exactly.
The way. Okay,
where it was for an elementary school, but it had some choice language that I was a little surprised by, with using like the theme of Tim Lincecum with the Giants. And hey, sometimes if they want this for the parents and they're going to walk around with it, hey, that's their choice, and they're buying the shirts and they get to choose it. But I mean, that was something recently. You never know. I mean, there's so many different unique things that you're seeing out there on the products, and unique experiences. When, I'm meeting with customers or sales stuff, I've always had different stories and different times where, out at meetings or first time meeting a customer, just like it would be the same on any business that you're dealing with, on the relationships and how you're dealing with people.
So we have a limo company called Limitless Limo, and one of our claims to fame is that we drove around Snoop Dogg when he was in town. So I'm trying to think of what we might come up with in terms of like a promotional item around Limitless Limo. Do you have any thoughts?
Hey, I mean, you could do something with the clever idea of using Snoop, if he was letting you use on creating some kind of figurine or something with your limo, trying to make a customized cell phone charger in the shape of a limo, and something of maybe having some brochures or something of the different celebrities who've been involved with it. So it explains the product, and then the different people who've used your services in the past, so that you're kind of relating with them. So
you're helping your clients to build an image. How important is a positive image for your clients?
I think your images, especially in this day and age with social media and everything like that, it doesn't matter if the customer, spends $1,000 versus the customer spends $1 million. Each of them have a reputation. So your image online on how you're perceived is crucial now, with Yelp and Facebook reviews, everything like that. So I think, creating your image and the products that you offer with that image, it all goes hand in hand. So you don't want to be handing out something that doesn't relate with your target market. So it's important to find those products that hit that niche, and like when you're picking out the items that you want, you need to kind of know your demographics and explain that to the company you're working with, so that they can kind of show stuff that hits that demographic. As I went back on, none of us, the younger generation, they don't really use calendars. We have our cell phone there. So handing out a calendar might not be the best thing compared to handing out a cell phone charger or a Bluetooth speaker when they're going to the beach to use.
Yeah, no question. Now, you've been recognized for some of your works in the business, right? You've got some awards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you share that with us?
Some of the stuff last year in our national magazine, I was the sales rep of the year for based on volume, and some of the stuff that we do with our customers for the national sales rep of the year. We've been in some other different publications in regards to how our business is set up. We're very streamlined. I try to be the only sales rep for our company because I want to be the first voice and the main person who's the contact for each customer. So we've really set our business up really streamlined, and we work with a billing company who helps out on the back end and the stuff that isn't my specialty. So I can focus on the sales and driving business and coming up with creative ideas to our customers.
Any advice that you give to entrepreneurs that were thinking about starting out in the business?
For new people, I think it's crucial to understand your business, no matter what it is. You need to know, look at what's successful in it and try to understand your competitors and everything like that. And from that, you try to set up how your business is going to be positioned. If you're trying to be, whatever aspect it is, you really need to try to focus on that and then try to streamline that business so you can have savings for your customers, as well as, have the right partners who can show the creative ideas.
We are speaking here with Harry Ein, I call him Mr. Swag, but he's the CEO and founder of Perfection Promo, and sharing his wisdom about how to help his clients achieve their dream and their goals of having a professional image in their business. And I want to thank you for the gifts. I know you brought in the Reggie Theus bobblehead. I want to thank you for the advice. I also want to thank Brian Bennett. Brian coming on, sharing his story about building a restaurant chain in Paul Martin's. And, I want to take just a minute to thank our sponsor, Limitless Limo. And I got Marcus here. And Marcus, you're the CEO of Limitless Limo in your spare time. Give us a little plug for Limitless Limo. What's your differentiation?
Well, we like to consider ourselves the sprinter guys. So my GM, Brian, and I are going out and talking to the public about the Mercedes Sprinter Coach. It is not your typical slip and slide limousine. We are big boy rides. Even Snoop Dogg himself can stand up and post around in there. So we also like to say that the ride is as important as the destination.
Thank you, Marcus. And, we're talking about people we like and likable people. And I want to do a little shout out to a young man who's getting married today. His name is Ryan Valletta. He's a young man that I coached in football back when he was about 10 years old. He grew up to be quite a football player. And his father, Bob Valletta, is one of my business partners in the real estate company and Haney Garcia Realty Group. And I just want to do a little shout out because I'm going up to Tahoe to hang out with these guys later this afternoon. So Ryan and Ashley, congratulations on getting married today. You make a beautiful couple. And Ryan, you are doing some very entrepreneurial things of your own, and I look forward to watching you and your progress in your family and watching you grow. Next week, one other thing I wanted to mention before I forget is next week, at the request of Brianna Cahill, I've been asked to mention what's going on with the Social Venture Partners. Social Venture Partners it's a charitable organization that's very unique. And they give back to the community in kind of an interesting way, similar to a venture capital company, right? So you've got guys from around the area who've had some success, some businesses, and they've thrown some money in to create what I'll call a venture fund. And then what they do is they go out and they invest into charitable organizations. And so they select just a few to invest in. And coming up next week, there's going to be a Shark Tank type TED Talk event at McGeorge School of Law for the Social Venture Partners. And the name of it is going to be called The Fast Pitch. And it really is an opportunity. If you want to go down there to McGeorge School of Law to check this out, it's really a chance to see nonprofits pitch for the Social Venture Partners to invest in their company. And as these partners, I'm one of the social venture partners that's investing, but as we invest into these charitable organizations, we also want to help them grow and help them to be successful in their business, much like we would as angel investors or a venture capital firm in its traditional sense. Coming up in a few minutes after the break, I am going to have some closing thoughts about charisma and how likability can so often influence our path to success. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Sports 1140 KHTK, streaming live, podcast, and YouTube at HaneyBiz.com. All right, and welcome back. And so many times on this show, I am reminding myself that I'm not necessarily teaching. Sometimes I feel like I'm teaching a little bit, and I don't really want to sound that way because I think as you get older, there's so many things that really, we're not learning them. We're being reminded of what we already know. And I think when you start talking about charisma and likability and things like that, yeah, we already kind of know our style. We know what works, what doesn't work. And, what's Mark Haney going to teach me about charisma? I'm not going to teach you a thing, okay? And I don't think I'm trying to teach you anything. I mean, I think sometimes I'm reminding myself of who I want to be. And so as we talk about shaking hands and fist bumps and high fives, and you know what? I don't have the answer to that. I'm awkward when it comes to that. It's just who I am. I don't know how hard to squeeze a guy's hand and, whether to shake my hand out when it's to a woman. Or, I don't know. And I guess what I've learned after 52 years that I need to remind myself, and the people in this room have reminded me, just be me.
Absolutely.
Just be me. Be there. Be me when I'm shaking hands or fist bumping. Be me if I'm working through an important decision or an important negotiation. I can't pretend I'm going to be somebody else. Be good cop. Be bad cop. I'm not that type of guy. I just got to be me. And I don't know why we all probably at times we get nervous and we think about, hey, how are we going to play the game? And so many times it comes back to that reminder of just be yourself. Forget the manipulative strategy. Give them a hug. Do the uncomfortable handshake. Just be you. But I was talking to Jason Hartman at the Kings game the other night. He was nice enough to invite us to the suite, and we had a great time. And I was telling him about the topic of the show being charisma. And, Jason said it's kind of simple. It might not be easy, but it's kind of simple. Give a bleep, right? Give a rip. And I thought, Jason, that's so basic. If you just care about what other people are thinking about and what's important to them, there's where the charisma starts coming in. There's where the likability factor starts coming in. Care about somebody. Give a rip. And I thought that was so basic. And we had a great time in Vegas. Marcus and I were in Vegas the other day, and this whole story sort of resonates with me because we were in Vegas having a big party for a bunch of casinos. And Uriah was there signing autographs and being Mr. Charismatic, and our team was hitting on all cylinders. Todd Flowers, the rock star CEO, making everybody feel good. Our sales reps were engaged with their customers, and it was obvious as I sort of looked around with a cold Bud Light in my hand, and I looked around and I thought, you know what? These people really like us. I was so impressed with the team, and it reminded me, I'm going to flashback 6 months ago to the summer, or maybe it's 8 to 10 months ago the summer. We were sitting around my living room, and we were having a discussion, and we were talking about what we wanted to do. And there was one thing different about that day. Well, two things. One, we were in my living room. We just had a barbecue, which that was kind of unique.
A company meeting in your living room.
Company meeting for SSI, our surveillance company, in our living room, and we had some of the leadership guys there. And there was something that kind of ignited us, kind of sparked us. And it was an individual, and his name is Daniel Jackson, right? So our team, we got a strong team. We've been in business for a long time. And then all of a sudden we add this spark, right? Daniel. And Daniel comes in, and we're all sitting around talking about the dream of building surveillance company and how great we're going to be. And the thing that happened was people, they listened to each other. We went around and we talked about what we wanted the company to be, and we began to listen. And that listening led to people being vulnerable, people sort of letting their guard down, right? So we listened, and we let our guard down at the same time. And we started talking about the rainbow, and what might be at the end of the rainbow, similar to the way Mr. Bennett was talking about Paul Martin's and what SSI could be. And something magical happened that day in the living room, and it was really invisible. But as people listened to one another, there was a bonding beyond charisma. Charisma had manifested itself into commitment. Yes. From charisma to commitment, from listening to letting go of our insecurities to being vulnerable. And that bond, that magical bond that you cannot see, you can't see it until you go to Las Vegas and you see the team shaking hands and hugging and high-fiving and flumping and all this stuff happening when relationships are getting built. And it started with a handful of people committed to a cause, listening and letting go of their insecurities, listening and letting people in to their hearts. So it was a beautiful thing to see in Las Vegas. I enjoyed it. We did a lot of handshaking, fist bumping, and I got to tell you, I'm so proud of my team. I'm so proud of what we're doing here. Lean on me, folks. If you are out there and thinking about, I need to build something, I need to build a dream, Think Haney Biz. Think Entrepreneurs Unlimited. Never above you, never below you, and always by your side.